Yeah, yeah, and we had talked about this in a previous episode. I don't want each individual tile being an NFT because then it devalues the fact that
because
it's an
instead
NFT.
of having something that's sort of one of one, so to speak, because that's all I think a lot of the appeal of an NFT is it's we're going back to that concept of exclusivity. What's more exclusive than something that's truly one of a kind? Rich people have been investing in artwork for that reason for years. There's only one Van Gogh like this, right? And land at this point doesn't have that same sort of creative sort of input to create it, as far as NFT production is concerned, that some of these other things that folks are selling online do. So
precisely.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, other improvements to the land or other builds on the land may be essential first before you talk about what it means for land itself to be an NFT.
Yeah, and because I believe that there is the potential for them to have that type of value, but I agree that I don't think they should be all NFTs because there's no value to a specific tile. A property, you could argue, might be something you could create an NFT for. A property deed itself. So if you go in and you buy 500 tiles, that property deed could hold value long term. And that's where I can see the stamped land really coming into play. But again, I really think it might be a little bit early in a platform like that for something like that to be implemented. And then you also run into the problem of what if the land is sold so many times that by the time you can actually build something on it, you're just not getting anything off of it in royalties because it's transitioned through so many hands before you ever hit a phase where it had real value. And then once it got to that point, it's just you're not getting anything out of it. So there's other issues I think that come into play with it. So
right, yeah, beyond just sort of watering down what the initial investment was. Yeah,
precisely.
Yeah, and there is, I think, also something to be said about a competitor maybe introducing something like this as a sexy way to get new investors,
right?
without it necessarily being automatically a great idea, right? This is a different, it is a variation on what Earth 2 is doing. It's an added thing, but I don't know if the thing is necessarily a good thing yet, for lack of a more insightful description.
Yeah, I think they're trying to be different just for the sake of being different.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some time to find out, right? We're gonna, we're doing this twice a week. We're seeing the announcements from Earth 2 and vPark, and for that matter, since we're talking about it, that actually transitions into we can at least touch on what another competitor's been doing, which is AfterEarth.
Right, and so AfterEarth's pretty much a ripoff of Earth 2. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But they do one thing really well that I like that I wish Earth 2 would have thought about. And that is they price things by city, not by country. So, for example, New York City might be $1 a tile compared to Helena, Montana, which is 5 cents a tile. I like that concept. I wish it's something Earth 2 would have done from the
I think that was a great concept. I also agree with the first point. I do think that it's a little bit too similar to Earth 2 right now with no clear end goal.
But that's something that's actually changed. Well, I wouldn't. They've put out a plan. I don't know how. It's a little ambitious, to say the least. So, April 2020. I'm just looking at it right now. April 2021. Instant blockchain deposits and withdrawals. That's pretty aggressive. May 2021. Mobile app. That's pretty aggressive. And split assets.
And so
pretty
when
fast.
You say that, and I don't have it up right now, full disclosure, you said split assets, like you'd be able to. Right. Okay. That's what I thought, because that's something that I know that the Earth 2 community would be very excited about. Some of those monster plots and expensive nations. But sorry, continue.
Then we get the quarter 3 AfterEarth cryptocurrency. Hybrid platform, centralized and decentralized.
That's
a pretty aggressive time frame.
The one thing I would say is that two of those things really, I mean, the mobile app, it's cool and all, but if there's not adding more functionality to the platform, then it's just a different way to buy tiles. I do like the idea of being able to break up tiles. I do really like the blockchain build, because I do think regardless whether Earth 2 creates NFTs for the properties, they should be on blockchain, because I do.
Yeah,
I think that's
that
extremely
many times
important.
here, so
And
not
the
disagreeing.
cryptocurrency, I mean, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies out there, so I like their ambition in that regard. But whether or not it'll actually hold value is a much different challenge. There's some things they're clearly doing right, but I would really like to know like what the end goal for what you can do on the property is more.
So it does say on that same webpage, future plans, virtual gaming platform, real-time live experiences. So they're trying to go after what Earth 2's doing, but I don't know if they're going to be. They have a team of like 6 people right now, and doesn't look very experienced. And some people are kind of saying it's maybe fabricated. So it's a little sketchy. But I will say this: I did put some money in for they had a UAE release, and I put in a little money, and I bought some UAE tiles at 5 cents a tile, 10 cents a tile, and I flipped them really quick, and I cashed out $150, and I received
That's
my
good.
money within
I mean,
15 minutes.
that is extremely impressive. I have to admit, I don't know what their KYC, what their know your customer protocols look like to get a deposit out the door that quickly.
Yeah, there was none.
We'll let Batman own that claim and not myself. But yeah, there may not have been one for for your withdrawal.
So it's a little sketchy, but some of the things they're doing I like, and so it's maybe it's something Earth 2 can learn from. And I did want to mention a quote from Shane when someone asked him about this. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, while you're pulling that up, I can talk at least a little bit more about vPark in general and sort of this enthusiasm for these, really for crypto, which is to Combo's point. We've got so many different coins out there that you can invest in, and there's really only so many companies that are truly going for this concept, right? We've got Earth 2, we've got vPark, we've got AfterEarth. And so for me, as exciting as the possibility of linking it to cryptocurrency is, there's just so much more competition in that space than in the space that they're already in, that I just feel like maybe from a sort of focus and business perspective, focus on the game, focus on what you're already planning to do. And if something, I do think that getting it on the blockchain, that is a different concept, and that should be prioritized. But actually coming up with a crypto might be kind of too far away from the initial focus for my liking.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that there's also, well, I don't think that there's many competitors. I do think that there's been an increase in competitors in the virtual land space relatively quickly. And if that continues, I do think I could see it being bad overall, just because I feel like there's not enough people interested in it yet to create such an oversaturated market. And if there starts becoming all these little pop-up applications, I mean, we have Upland, and you have all these new applications that are just vPark, AfterEarth here in the last month and a half. The more it pulls people in multiple directions, and it starts creating this confusion of what should I look at? What should I take seriously? What should I not take seriously? And I do think that it's a combination of people trying to capture lightning in a bottle and companies trying to capitalize on that. And so I do think it's very important that we stay extra vigilant right now with regards to these platforms, because I do think that you have to be an idiot to not see the success going on right now, right? So it's very easy for someone with less than solid or positive intentions to come into the platform and make quite a disruption.
Right, and if one company ends up being
exactly,
a bad player,
because there's not enough
be
trust there yet to bring people back. I mean, people aren't going to. It's not like Verizon and AT&T, where if AT&T screws you over, you can just go to Verizon and that's the end of the day. You know what I mean? But here, there's a lot less certainty. So I mean, I also feel that way when it comes to people going into the Discord though and screaming about scam and things like that. I think that stuff's also just as damaging to the platform. So, I understand why people get so worked up about
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
There's just a lot. A brand and a platform is very sensitive, and it's very fragile in its infancy. And I think we're still there with Earth 2. I'm very honest about Earth 2. I still think Earth 2 is behind Decentraland and the Sandbox in terms of where they need to be as a platform. Do I think that they could do it? Absolutely. But I think that obviously they have to make sure to do everything right along the way. So it's something that we need to keep an eye on always and just be careful.
So someone asked Shane, and he was on Discord after the Easter egg hunt winners were announced, and we'll get into that in just a moment. And they asked him, "What do you think of AfterEarth and vPark?" And Shane said, "I guess if you have people trying to copy you, then it means you're onto something big. I am just focused on what we're doing and making sure we keep focused. Good luck to them if things get real, because people have no idea about all the things which happen behind the scenes and all the things we have accomplished behind closed doors. I'm just focusing on what we're doing and making sure we're on the right path." And
yeah,
I
mean, you sort of feel like the front runner, and these people are sort of just trying to, catch up to you and clutch onto your sort of your coattails. So, I do think that competition can breed some additional good ideas they could learn from, but I do appreciate sort of Shane's core point of, they can do what they want. We've got the right idea. We'll worry about them later, basically.
Right. I mean, it's a good point. Earth 2's been through a lot of learning already in just the short lifespan they've had. They've learned a lot of lessons, and AfterEarth's going to have to learn those lessons too. And they can't rely on Earth 2 because every platform's different, so everyone's going to have their bumps and bruises.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think how much has already transpired, in basically 5 months' time. It's been.
Well, I mean, here we are having a podcast on it. So.
Yeah, exactly. with a guest, it really is something. But I do think that they've got their own brand to worry about, but that larger point about the space in general and how if you've got a few unscrupulous players, it casts a really negative light on everything else. And you saw that with like BitConnect and cryptocurrency, where if that's all that your grandma sees about crypto, it's just going to be, that's going to be the extent of her opinion, right? It's going to be, I heard one horror story and that'll persist for years, So I think staying vigilant is the best advice. But, I would be remiss, since we're joined today not by Hazy, but by the Batman, to do a little follow-up on what our friend the Joker has actually been up to. Indeed, as well as perhaps some other of your arch nemesis, right? Because we're seeing some other DC comic universe characters that are now entering the leaderboard. So not so subtly showing up. So you actually, if I may demask you for a second and return you to your Hazy persona, you had a chance to interview the Joker, didn't you?
I did. So we exchanged a bunch of messages on Discord, and he's an interesting character, and I'm not sure I believe him 100%, but I wrote everything he said and omitted some things he asked me to omit. And it some of the things he omitted really revealed a lot about him, but I can't say. But let's just say he's interesting, and I think he has a vision. I'm just not
We're all
sure
finding
that
out
knows
what the vision is together in real
yet.
time as we sort of look through the tea leaves of what purchases have been made and sort of try to reverse engineer that into what the vision is.
Yeah, so after the interview, he actually did a $50,000 purchase from a similarly themed user named Harley Quinn for a $2,000 plot, and that was like super interesting, to say the least. I don't get the mindset of this person, and that's why the Joker is an appropriate nickname for him, because like he said in the interview, he's like, didn't Joker burn half his money
Yeah, I
in
mean,
The Dark Knight?
I
I'm like,
guess
yeah,
if you're really
he
trying
did.
to do art imitating life, imitating art in that sort of brutal way, then sure, you can give Shane $2,400 for his 5% profit, because that's. I don't know for sure that the Harley Quinn user is controlled by the same person. It could be a different person, could be the same. But all I know is that $2,400 went out the door because of that 5% profitability. So it's that. I mean, that is crazy to me.
So yeah. So
Well,
Combo, what do you think of all this?
honestly, it's interesting to me too. Part of me thinks it's someone with way too much money that is still learning their way through the game, and they just have more money to blow while they do it than regular people, so they can buy and sell whatever they want and not really care. And then part of me thinks it could be something malicious. I don't know enough about it to understand what the heck's even going on. I did see the purchases. I've seen a lot of conversations surrounding them. It's hard to nail down. It's very mysterious behavior. I'm leaning toward it being someone with a lot of money that really just doesn't care about learning their lessons the hard way. Yep, precisely.
Yeah, and they're playing a game.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
part of the game is
I
this
think about
roleplay
some of
that they're doing.
the poor purchases that I've made, and Hazy and I have talked about this, and I'm sure that your December 18 purchases, Combo, were not maybe as good as the purchases you made yesterday. We'll just say it that way. But the types of mistakes I was making were with like $20 or $30.
Yep.
Under nobody was caring what I was doing or watching it, whereas when your mistakes are to the magnitude of these 5-figure transactions repeatedly, because the Joker's already like 10th on the leaderboard. He's already put in the 10th most money in the game out of anybody. And has shown up only, I don't know if they had made a single purchase before the month of April. So, it's interesting to see somebody explode onto the scene like this. And I'm curious if we see more people, just kind of show up that make these enormous purchases.
Did we confirm that it wasn't actually Ben Affleck who was buying land in Earth?
I mean, I don't know that when the interview was conducted that was confirmed. If there was some, I don't know that we had that voice recognition opportunity.
There we go. I mean, it would make a lot of sense because that's a lot of money to just toss around. So whatever's going on, he's shooting up the leaderboard fast. So congrats to him.
Yeah, almost.
Listen, some people got really big stimulus checks.
Less than 2 weeks.
Okay?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Where was the stimulus check for me to buy $8,000 worth of property in Monaco?
I didn't get one either.
I need that Monaco check.
Yeah, Batman put $300 in AfterEarth.
Well, I mean, I guess at the rate that we're going. I don't know that there's much more to say about the Joker today, but at the rate we're going, we'll have more to talk about later this week, chances are. No. Those properties are staying on that profile, and from what I've seen and heard, the Joker is still making some huge bids, so I expect to see more properties on their profile soon.
Well, I mean, I'm not looking to sell or anything, but if you just want making an offer, I can't resist. I'll entertain it.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for the Combo and for Batman to try to sell their properties.
Well, let me explain why I am Batman. So we'll go into this real quick, and then we'll wrap this thing up because we've been talking a long time, but it's been a good conversation. But basically, Harley Quinn. I don't know if it's his alt, but I think it is. Bought 2 large properties directly adjacent to properties I had. So I'm like, why on earth did they do this? So I figured, I even told him, I said, I'm going to play your game. I'm going to be your I'm going to be your arch nemesis. And I turned my mega cities into the Batcave. I labeled everyone the Batcave, so maybe he goes I basically increased the prices of all my properties that are adjacent to their properties. And maybe I
There you
make
go.
some money out
Yeah,
of the deal.
you're still
If
getting
not, I'm
land,
having
right?
fun
So
too.
what's the
So
worst
it's
that
all
could
good.
happen? You get stuck with some land tiles that are, hopefully still appreciating in value at a decent clip. So we'll see if this works out for the Batman.
So speaking of some
We
value,
did, yeah. We had the
we had
winners announced,
255
and
people win some
prizes are in
money.
the process right now of being claimed. You've got to reach out directly to let the devs know what your username is within Earth 2. But yeah, I think the timeline is prizes are rolling out in about 2 weeks or within the next 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and Meta said he'd already been contacted. So I think they're going to be out soon. There are some hiccups though, and that might slow things down. I know there's a bunch of users in the Discord in Gen Chat, as usual, complaining that they claimed the prize before the
Right,
cutoff
right.
time,
And
and
I,
that
I have
they didn't win.
not looked into a
So
lot of these claims myself, but I have heard that there's some legitimacy to what some of the folks are posting, and it's unfortunate. I don't know how widespread the issue is, or how many people genuinely did post and feel as though they didn't get the egg that they had deserved. But I'm hoping that it's a very small number, because I don't think that Earth 2 really needs any more negative attention after the UAE yelling. I guess we'll just call it the great yelling of 2021, where everybody went into the Discord and lost their minds. But yeah, I mean, ultimately though, got some money coming out to the community, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
yeah, but the one thing I really didn't like, and I know I'm probably in the minority here, but the fact they made all of them NFTs, not just the 5 first place prizes. So that to me devalues the NFT itself. Like I was willing myself, I would have paid 5 to 10 grand for
Right.
one of those 5 NFTs. No problem. I would have wrote a check.
It depends,
Now
I
that
guess,
there's
on how they decide to
255 of
mint
them, I
them.
don't care.
They could mint the winners as looking different than the or labeled or numbered maybe different than the follow-ups.
Yeah, so if they're more
Yeah, that would be nice.
scarce
I
or
agree though. If
rare,
they're all the
then that
same,
would
then
still get them
there's
value.
less. They're just not fun. That's not as exciting.
Yeah. I think that it again comes back to that idea of having something that nobody else has, or very few other people have. And so, yeah, maybe 255 perhaps is too much to maintain that sort of exclusivity. But, I think that if nothing else, the people that won will at least not feel super upset they didn't get an NFT now, right? We won't have that sort of griping because they're all getting one. So, I mean, ultimately, I am curious to see if future sort of holidays or whatever dates of importance there are for Shane, if we have more of these events and more NFTs, because that could be interesting too, because you could have users that try to collect an NFT from every single event as like some sort of badge, a token of their Earth 2 accomplishments. So I mean, I'm excited. I'd like to participate in more events in the future. I know I didn't get an egg this time, but even if there's, a bajillion NFTs and they lose value, I'd like to try to get something for like a future St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I didn't get an egg
actually
either.
get a chance
I got
to
a bunch
look.
of rocks, but it's all
so,
good.
lucky me, right? I decided to do a live stream for Dubai and for the egg hunt, and neither of them went as one would have expected. Dubai, obviously, the server crashed, so I ended up spending 2 hours on the live stream until I finally was able to buy property. So everyone at least actually got to suffer along with me, so that was fun. But, and then, I did the Easter egg hunt, and I was all ready to do this egg hunt with everybody. And then as soon as they released this, the steps, it said that you couldn't tell people, you couldn't really work with other people because of the nature of it. So I couldn't even really hunt for them on the live stream with anybody because I'd be helping everybody get it. So I didn't actually even hunt for any eggs. I just hung out with everybody for 2 hours while they hunted, and I talked to them and chatted with them and stuff. I kind of took one for the team.
Yeah, that is for the good of the content.
That's right.
What a pal.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. You know, they don't understand the sacrifices that are made.
That's well, Combo. We all appreciate the sacrifices you're making. I do think, hopefully, the next big event that we've got coming out, you will be able to live stream, or you will be able to talk about in real time, which is the beginning of phase 2.
Yes.
We're allegedly less than a week out, and I shouldn't say allegedly. What I should say is possibly, because the promise of April 17th being the day did come with the caveat if there's any issues. But if we don't have issues, we're at least going to get EPL in essence. So, Combo, I'll start with you. What's your hype level? Are you super excited? Is this not really getting your enthusiasm level up? How are you feeling coming into the 17th?
Oh, I'm all about it. It's a change. It'll probably change a little bit of the user interface. It'll give us one extra layer of depth to our existing land. So I'm excited about it. I've been so invested in this, like everyone else, when it comes to just being in it every day. To see something new and fresh is very exciting. So I hope it goes off without a hitch. I am very nervous because it's in the platform itself, and we saw what happened with the UAE. So I think it's to be seen whether or not it goes off. I have a feeling that they're going to keep it scheduled as is. Whether or not it actually goes over okay is a whole other story.
Yeah, I think if they do it on April 17th, they're going to announce it.
Yeah, that might be
before,
the best thing, because it seems like in some cases when the community really has time to build up towards something and really get the hype train going, it's not always the best thing. Yeah. But I'm definitely excited to be able to do something new. Just anything new, I think is a thrill. I don't know that I'm as excited as some people are for it, just because I don't know necessarily the application of having these EPLs, but they may end up, I may see the light, and maybe we'll find out more, and I'll become much more excited about it. But the thing I'm ultimately excited for is it's something new. It's technically the beginning of phase 2, and it's something for other people to also get enthusiastic about. So I think those are all.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
Positive things. Yeah, that is exactly how I feel. Anything that gets us into phase 2 and closer to me getting like some gold mines, or I don't know, cadmium, whatever I'm getting, I want it. Trees, water, just some sort of resource. Yeah, sand, I'll take it. I am very open-minded at this point. I am desperate for resources.
All right, so one last thing I need to do. 7. Combo, pick a number between 1 and 8. All right, so Bakla Dekanovsky, you win the $50 cash giveaway. So I'll shoot you an email, but congratulations on winning the $50. So Combo, I hope you've enjoyed our conversation.
No, thank you guys so much for having me. I had a lot of fun
good
chatting with you guys. Hopefully we can do this again soon. It was a lot of great conversation, a lot of really great topics, I think, are really important to the current state of the platform. So,
yeah, well, like if you want to come on like once a month, once every 2 months, you're always welcome here. We love talking Earth 2 and love talking different ideas and concepts about the game. And as much as I like Kangy, sometimes we talk about the same stuff over and over.
Yeah, we always get that fresh insight.
It's good having different.
Yeah, I really enjoyed having you on, and I definitely think that we'll be able to mine some good conversation later on.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks again for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, this has been the My Name is Human Earth2.io podcast, brought to you by E2.news. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.